We are live. Welcome back to another Speed Lab. Another great day for us to get together and review some film. I've been trying to reframe things as practice. So we're here for another practice. This was going to be a quick one, a short one, because it's Friday and we have things to do, but most importantly, we have film to review. So I am here in Speed Lab. This is how you submit your film. We have some film from Anthony Richardson. We're going to review these. We ended last stream going over some of his film, of their film. So we'll start with Anthony. Then we'll move on to David, working on some top speed work. There was actually someone in my DMs that asked how to improve top speed. So let's look at David. I have some notes already there, and then we're going to have some fun at the end with Casey and discuss how do you find your spikes, which spikes are best for you, that kind of thing. So first and foremost, we're going over Anthony. Let's bring up Anthony's film. In our nice handy dandy app here. Here we go. So Anthony was on last stream, as I said. Anthony ran 11.5. How do I get this to? Oh, I see. I'm on the pointer. Was translated to about a 23.0 200. This was actually Anthony's freshman year. So freshman year, Anthony ran these times, ended with a 52. The problem is that Anthony is going into his senior year and running 51. That's a big problem when you only make this much improvement over 4 years. And we know actually from some film last week that Anthony is probably close to a 1080 100 meter time. So I would expect that to be around a 2160 200 meter time, and I would expect that to be around 49 to 400 meter time. So let's see what could be going wrong with Anthony's 400s here. So the 200 meter is from February this year. It looks like an indoor track. So let's look at this 200 meter that Anthony ran, which has happened 45 minutes after a 400 meter. So this is nice film here. I'm assuming that's Anthony. Yep, Anthony with the dreads. Let's see. Oh, I'm always jealous. I wanted dreads for a long time, but that ship has passed me. So, all right, Anthony, let's see. We're just going to play it through. Watch what happens. Got indoor bank track. Where's this at? Clemson? $22.79 or somewhere around there. I wish he put the time. That said $22.79. Okay, so indoor, beginning of the season, bank track. Excuse me, sorry. Struggling a bit coming home. It is the beginning of the season, but struggling. Like you can see the changes in Anthony here. Attacks the first turn pretty nice here. Powers by the guy outside of him. Comes up on the turn. So where are we at? 150. And we're struggling a bit to come home. You can see the fight. Which isn't always a good thing. I mean, I know you have to fight to finish. It looked like the turn threw you off there, which could have been the case, Anthony. This indoor track is often difficult, although I kind of get the impression that maybe you have a bigger indoor season than we're used to out here in California. I mean, if you are at Clemson, then I'm pretty sure you're at Clemson, so definitely have a better indoor season than we do. But even coming off this turn here, I think the bankedness of the track got to you a bit because you didn't look so comfortable. Although I know you won the race, but we want to get to 21. We need to be at 21. But 22-7 as a start can be a 21 type season. And then you look uncomfortable coming off this turn as well, but you're able to power it home. The only way to get better at running bank tracks. Okay, so this is difficult. The blocks, you start on a curve because it's a bank track. So that's just what it is. And then coming off this turn, they hit that little wobble. It looked like you had to brake a bit here coming off this turn. Like your strides got a little longer and outside of yourself just so you were able to stay on the track, right? And then as you move up onto this turn, I'm going to try to stop saying you need to attack the turn. You kind of let off because you're in preparation to run this bank turn. The only way that you get around the bank turn as fluidly and efficiently as you do on the straight in an indoor track is that you attack uphill. This cements you to the track. Okay, Anthony? So that was Anthony's 200. Now we have his open 400 PR from last year, green track. 2 angles for clarity. So that means that, let me see that again. Anyone see a green? Oh, here we go. Green track. Okay, so this is Anthony's PR for the open 400. I like this color track, tripping me out. Now let's figure out what lane he's in. So I don't. Anthony, when you see this, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you in the all white? Let me just make sure we have an alternate view. Let's see if that helps us. Is this the alternate view? Yeah. Yeah, so you're in the white. Okay, so this is going to be the back stretch. Okay, so that's the back stretch for Jordan. Don't say Let's watch this home stretch. Okay, so you see the head nodding and the bobbing here by Anthony. This is Anthony. I'm almost certain. Oh, wait a minute. What about the guy next to him? I'm just gonna go with that being you, Anthony, and if not, we have to do some adjustments as far as who we're looking at. So he's fighting. I see you fighting. I tell my athletes all the time, you can't fight fatigue. You have to, if you want to fight at the end, here's how I know you're fighting. So you should beat this guy in lane 5. I think this is you. I mean, easier said than done, right? But That's you. You're fighting. Look at the head movement up and back, right? Oh, Anthony, please here. Do you believe in a float phase in the 200? Well, first of all, thanks for joining, Anthony. Good to see you. Let's go back. So, yes, I do. My float phase. I mean, how do I put this? I'll put it like this. I might have it on here, actually. Let's write it out for you, Anthony. Okay, we got our nice track here. That's already messed up. How about this? That's still not great, but that's what we're going to use. Start. Finish. Okay, 200 meter strap. Okay, we'll just say 2G. So we'll call this the 100. Do I believe in a float phase in a 200? That's the question. A little bit. I believe in a gather phase, not quite a float phase as you might see in a 400. Okay, so this is my 200 meter strategy. So, boom. My goal from the very beginning of the race is to go catch the person outside of me, and if possible, the two people outside of me. So from the very start, I'm going to work on catching this guy, and if possible, I'm going to go catch this person too. I understand if your heat is full of heat, no pun intended, right? But that's my goal when I step into the blocks, no matter who's outside of me. Go get them. So that will force me to attack this curve. I want to be in attack mode, dry phase, all those kind of things up to about here. So we'll call this 75 meters. Okay, maybe even 80 meters. Now, as I come off the turn, Anthony, I want the turn to do the work for me by providing turnover, okay? Because I split this turn into uphill, downhill. I'm fighting uphill. Now I'm working downhill. And what I mean by downhill is if you've ever literally run downhill and your feet, right before you fall on your face, your feet have to speed up to keep up with your forward momentum, and then you fall on your face. When we think about the turn as uphill, downhill, we're kind of getting we want this to be like a slingshot off this curve. Yeah. And so we'll say from 80 meters to 100 meters, this is our gather phase. What color can we write this in? We'll write it in blue. Gather. What does gathering mean? So coming off the turn, Anthony, you want the turn to do the work for you. You want it to be like a slingshot coming off of here. And when you gather, it's a breathe in. Okay. And we want to refocus on posture, gaining distance. All right, Anthony. So I'm going to breathe in, stand up tall, make sure that I'm gaining distance. When I hit this 100, I'm going to breathe out and really place my focus on covering ground. Now, I just did a 200 meter review where I said, if you can come off this 100 meter turn and be in the lead, you're in a good spot. That's just That's true for people that don't know how to run the 200 and don't know how to attack this turn. The most important thing is that, right, going back to your question of float phase in the 200, not really. But what you'll see is people try to jog the turn and they don't attack. And so that's why I tell that's why we coach our athletes to be in the lead off this turn, right? You've done your breathe in when you got in here at about 80 meters off the turn. You come off, you breathe out here, you refocus on posture and covering ground, okay? Now, at a certain point, you're going to stop being as efficient covering ground, and you're going to break down in your posture and begin to fight, as you have in both the races that we've briefly covered, Anthony. And right here is called, my coach says, beat the drums. What that means is turnover. He wants his image in his mind as he coaches us is like a drummer boy, just boop, 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 boop. I want turnover. I want to avoid biting down on my mouth guard and trying to fight. I don't want to fight. No fight. Right? Instead, you want to fight fatigue. Oh, excuse me. No fighting fatigue. Right? Instead, I want to fight to keep my posture and turnover. Because what happens at the end of the race is people they're trying to fight fatigue, so they really try to grind it out, and then they end up getting long in their strides and slow in their turnover. So, Anthony, you do a decent job of maintaining turnover here, but you can see yourself fighting fatigue. Here's the other thing I'll tell you. Would I be getting faster with the arms as well? Yeah, everything works together, especially when you're tired with your legs. The arms almost take a little bit of precedent because my legs are getting so filled with lactic acid and the whole body is fatiguing, but it's a little bit easier to keep the arms pumping, and which will cue our legs to keep pumping. Okay. So my strategy, this is the open 200 strategy. Okay. When I get on the indoor track, it's a little different. It's a little different because I need to carry max aggression and attack mode going into the turn on the indoor. Okay. This is where I need to really attack as I'm coming up in here. Again, it's going to help stick you to that banked track, right? Because if you just stop running, what's going to happen on the banked track? You're going to fall down. You want to provide force that sticks you to the bankness of this track, right? So my recovery phase indoor is going to be, again, this is literally an uphill downhill because it's a banked track. Okay. So we're uphill. Now we get to come downhill. The turnover gets to happen for us. And right about here is where I will reposition myself and gather a breath in, breathe out as I continue to attack up this turn. Okay, maybe another breath in here. And then I breathe out as I keep my turnover going, coming home. Okay, with fast arms, as you said. Okay, Anthony? Let's watch that 400 again. Now we know you're in the white. Let me know if that makes sense. I know there's a little delay. Okay, I got it. That makes sense. Good. So this is Anthony. And Anthony, yes. So Anthony says, also in my last film review, you said I would overstride from time to time. Do you think that has to do with my right arm going back kind of long? Most definitely. very noticeable in this 200. Actually, not very noticeable. I'm thinking of a different film. Let's watch some more of this and let me reassess if you're overstriding or not. I do think that right arm is a little bit too open. Okay. I also think that when you're indoor and you're on the turn as you are, you need to do a little weird stuff to maintain your balance. And I know it's a process of running indoor. I understand that as well, and like getting comfortable indoors. Let me watch your 4. Let's see if I still see the same thing. Just quickly, we can go here. I know you're nice and relaxed here on this float stretch. I would ask that you give. So automatically, the people outside of you are too far ahead of you. Because this is turn 1. You can kind of see them here coming off that turn. Now I understand this is a 2-turn stagger. Okay. What that means is that, look at this, this may be the person who won, or I'm not sure. He broke his stagger on this person behind him already in 1 turn. So one or two things is true. This person is either going way too fast or this person's going way too slow. I'm not sure. I have to watch the full race. I would say that this distance is too far. You have lane 2. It's not the best lane. It's not the worst lane. It's much better than lane 1. All right. This guy's a little bit screwed back there. Lane 1 is so difficult because of the tight angle of the turn. But I would say you're a little bit too far behind as far as stagger is concerned. This lets me know that you're going out too slow. If our goal is to run our goal is to run 49, then we have to be coming through the first 200 around 2350, 2360. And I'm not sure what your time was on this 400. Maybe if you want to drop that in chat. But the stagger is, you're going too slow, is what I'm saying. But let me watch the full thing and make sure. I just feel like this is too much of a float. Okay, this is almost like a stride. There's a balance there. It's still, there is a float phase in the 400, but it's still a sprint. This is more like a stride, in my personal opinion. 51.4, yeah. So maybe we can time it actually on this one. Okay. So we're watching this lane. That's Anthony. Oh, there's no one in lane 3. That's helpful. So maybe you got out at a perfect speed. I thought the guy in front of you was in lane 3, but I think he's in lane 4, which means his stagger is even further ahead of you than I thought it was. Yeah, I think there's something funky with the right arm. You're right. But, you know, I mean, that's still a big, let me see. I'm going to cheat and see who, okay. Right. Do you remember what the guy who won ran? Do you remember what this guy ran? because let's compare the races, okay? So here's Anthony. There's the race winner. You can't see it because of my bad. Okay. Now let's pay attention to this, Anthony. Yeah, it's okay. You don't have to worry about it. You know, let's say you ran 51.4 in this race. Let's say he ran 48. Okay. Which again, I think we can get to based on some film that I saw from you. So let's pay attention to this. Look at coming off turn 1. Look at his distance to this runner in lane 7. Okay. I'm skipping lane 6 because you also have a 2-turn stagger. You're in lane 2. He's in lane 4. Am I tripping? Okay, that's a 2-turn stagger. Is that lane 5? That's lane 4. And lane 4 won the race. So we're going to compare how you come off the turn versus how he comes off the turn, because you both have a 2-turn stagger to work with. I don't know why it looks much further than that, but okay. So already look at this distance. That's from you to the race winner in lane 4. And look at lane 4's distance to lane 6. Lane 4 already caught up with lane 5. It's very possible that he got out too hard, but we know he won the race, so you know, it's unlikely that he got out too hard. But I want you to watch this progression, because you continue to lose distance to him, and he continues to gain distance on people in front of him. Right? This is way too much distance. Look at him to lane 6. Now, this would have been the perfect race for you to figure out, how do I maintain a safe distance, a manageable distance to this young man here. All right. Maybe he runs 46 seconds and your PR is 52, and that's unrealistic. I understand that. He's got to run his own race. You have to run your own race. But right here, I think you could have stuck better with him coming off turn 1. You already lost so much time, right? Because the clock doesn't wait for anyone. And meanwhile, he's gaining distance on everyone outside of him. And this is what you're going to see so often with 400-meter runners. They're going to try to make up the race in the last 200, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's why 800 runners don't really stand a chance in the 400. Because in that first 200, if I'm gone, you're not catching me. Like, even if I get out a little hard and you think that you're better conditioned than I am and you're going to come back in the end, that's not how it works. You don't negative split in the 400 like you might do in the 800. You don't come out of the 400 at 25 and then come back in 23. If you come out on 25, you're coming back in 27, 26. Okay. So I know I'm harping on this point. Let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so you begin to close on this guy, but I don't think he finishes very well. Way too slow. Look. Okay, again, let's compare you to the winner, lane 6. Look at the openness of lane 6's stride and the quickness of his turnover. Look at how much ground he covers with a little amount of effort. And I would say that your effort is good, but you need to cover more ground and you need to get out of a stride and into a sprint. Now, this just takes practice, right? This comes with race modeling, where you run a 250, but you have to come through 200 in that 23.5, like we talked. Wait, what was the time you're supposed to come in 200 at? Yeah, 23.5, like we talked about, 23.6. You have to figure out, how do I float the backstretch and still come out of my 200 in 23.6? I think you have the speed to do it based on the video I saw again. And again, it's not horrible, right? Like, I think you have the opportunity to run much faster. There's nothing very wrong at all besides some strategy things that you need to iron out. Here, you're remaining very much under yourself. It's just a bit reserved. The 400 takes a lot of experimentation. You have to run some 400s where you are too reserved, and then you have too much when you come home and close the race. You have to run some 400s where you get out too hard and you have nothing else at the end of the race. It's kind of this Goldilocks thing. It just takes experimenting. So now you're running. Now you started running like right now. It looks like it. I don't know if you saw how far behind you were and you decided that you had to run. I don't know if this is how you normally run the 400, but now I can see that you're running. But far too late. You just waited too late to go. And so look, this is exactly also what I'm talking about. You see how you're fighting fatigue, you're fighting to finish strong. Yeah, my plan has been kicking that last 200. Okay. Yeah, we got to refine that. So you see how you are fighting to come home, and then as soon as you fight, like when the fatigue hits, I call it biting down the mouth guard, just because I coach a lot of football players. But you bite down on your mouth guard and you try to finish hard, but watch, you get long and slow with this turnover. That turnover is much slower, right? And by turnover, I mean frequency of how often you touch the track. Much slower than back here. Obviously, you're tired, but again, let's look at our race winner as he comes home. Okay. Also fighting, side to side head movement, but turnover doesn't slow down. Turnover stays, turnover. Now he hits a wall. His turnover slows down, so he can run faster, obviously, too. You fight pretty good. You don't finish too far after that athlete. So everyone pretty much ran it wrong. Right? You have this guy who finishes well, but he hits a wall, a big wall, right? He got the pressure from this guy because he was on the outside of him. Yeah. So again, just like in the 200, right? Our goal is to be even or ahead at 300. I don't know what this guy ran at 1. Pretty much everyone outside of you hit a wall except for the winner. Okay. You could totally see how you're just jogging here, or striding, maybe 75%, maybe 80%. This has to still be at that 90% range, but nice and relaxed. Let's see if we can see anyone else. No. This is the best one. Okay. Again, just watching the race leader. Watch how he comes off the turn and his velocity doesn't change. His forward momentum doesn't change. He just lengthens up his stride a bit, stays nice and relaxed, so that on the backstretch, he's still floating, but still running at around 90-ish%. Okay. Black track. Okay, let's see if we can see another one for you. So this is your 4x4 like, okay, gotcha that. Yeah, it takes practice. It takes experience. I mean, I'm saying all this like all you got to do is like it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of, like I said, it's one race you get out way too hard and you're like, well, that didn't work. But it's not that the strategy is wrong, it's that you're figuring out how to implement the strategy. You get out really hard and you die one race, and then the next race you don't get out hard and you realize that you were left with too much coming home. There's a balance, and it just takes some finding out. Right. So Anthony also shared his 4x4. Which one are you, Anthony? Oh, I think I see you. This is the best race on the track by far every meet, the 4x4. If you leave early and you don't watch it, you're messing up. If you're a sprinter, in purple in the back. Back here? This is you? If you're a sprinter and you don't run the 4x4, you're messing up. If you're a jumper and you don't run the 4x4, you're messing up. Okay. What's up? Clue 8481. Hello. Are you the second leg? Why is you guys exchange like this? What leg are you? Oh, okay. Sprint medley relay 1124. Okay, that makes sense. Clue 84. I'm at the state meet for Wisconsin at the moment. Well, good luck, Clue. I hope you do well. State meet at Wisconsin. That's exciting. If you have any film, you can click the link and submit your film, and I'll review it for you. But right now is not the time to go over film. Right now is the time to be locked in your races and just compete. Right. I do this as my job, but also there's times where it's just time to run and compete and not think. And meet days, especially state meet days where you worked all year for this one meet, the time for thinking and analyzing is over. Now is the time for competition. Okay. All right. So this is a sprint med relay. Let's watch. Anthony passes on the turn. They're going too slow for him. Yeah, this is a better backstretch, right? And you know why? It's because you have to run to pass these two guys, right? Because otherwise you would not get past them. So they have forced you to run the backstretch. This is more symbolistic. This is more of the style that I would like to see as you come down the backstretch, Anthony. What was your split? Was my fastest and last race before injury. Clue says, no, I'm just watching. I'm not running today because I didn't make it. I'm too slow right now. Yeah, no problem. No problem. I mean, that's what we're here for, is to help you figure out how do you make it the next year to your state meet. how do you make state finals? That's a great goal. It's an achievable goal. Well, I don't know what you run and I don't know what your time is. I don't know how achievable it is, but it's one that has a metric attached to it, right? Who got 8th place or 9th place, depending on how many lanes there are in your state meet, and what was their time. And then that's your goal time for next year. And whether you hit it or you don't, you run faster than you did before. You have to have goals like that. Okay, clue. But thanks for stopping by. Anthony ran 49.0. I bet you majority of that time, the difference was on this backstretch. Again, it's a relay. This is the best event on the track. Look at all these people, right? Surrounding you, cheering you on. You're doing it with your teammates. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I don't know many splits that aren't. They now have chips inside a baton, so you don't have to not chips like eating, but data tracking chips, so that they can give you the correct splits. But we do all of our splits hand time too. It matters, right? So you get a running start. The split doesn't begin until you cross the finish line here. So like right now, ideally you would click the timer, you get to cut in across all these lanes, blah, blah, blah. To me, this is what I'm saying. The backstretch looked much better. You look much more fluid and like you're actually sprinting here, competing against the guys behind you, trying to hold them off. And by comparison, look at the guys behind you. After you pass them, they begin to stride. They stop sprinting. They work to keep you off a little bit, but then that didn't work so well. Right here, I'm looking right here. Okay, watch. After you pass them, they're sprinting for a few strides, and then they just stop trying. Or they start to get into a stride or whatever because they think that's how you run the 400. But this is how you attack the backstretch, okay? And look, you're able to still finish strong. There's a much better backstretch than your open. And a much better beginning. You got the baton in last place, second to last place. So there wasn't any time for thinking or for games. You just decided to sprint because you had to. This is how you have to attack the open 4 as well. Look at that. Look at how much faster you're. No one's just leaving you behind like in the open race with that guy just broke stagger on everyone immediately. That didn't happen here. Nice backstretch. What's this guy doing on the track? Get off the track. Is an announcer maybe? Look at everyone come home, including you, Anthony. Everyone coming home is long and slow. This guy looks actually decent. Guy in lane 1. Lane 2 is not horrible. Look at lane 3. Slow strides. And compared to you, right? You came and took your team from last to 5th. Watch the turnover. Watch the frequency with which this runner touches the track compared to the frequency with which, Anthony, you touch the track compared to these two in the front, right? Everyone slows down a bit, hits a big wall, and the frequency stops. So this is why in the last 60 or 70 of our 400, we have to work on frequency. Beat the drums, as my coach would say. Turnover. Look at 3rd place. Watch how long and slow he becomes. Look at that. And then here you are, much quicker, relaxed, still doing the head nod stuff. Okay, that would just come with strength and time. That was a good race. That was a good model for how you should run the 400. Watch and compare. Compare your open to that relay. $52.1 on the red track. Okay, let's see. One more from Anthony. Anthony, you got me. This is making sense. Are you able to see the differences here? Oh yeah, you really broke down lane 3. Okay, so you can see you really broke down here. I know you said this was from last year, so you grew a lot stronger. But this is so as we grow in our track journey, I'll focus on attacking harder. Going, yep, good. You know, it shouldn't be that much of a mystery either. Like your practices should be simulation of the meet. Your practices should be harder than the meet, not every day when it's programmed correctly. Okay, so that you don't have to do too much guessing on meet days. Meet days is about no more thinking, no more practicing, no, just competition. So you should have a internal speedometer based on what you do at practice that says I'm going too slow, I'm going too fast for the 400. That's easier said than done. But you can get it. Now let's watch this race. This must you said from last season, so not this current season, but the season before that with the time of 52.1. Watch how you come home. It looks like you attacked this backstretch better. Okay, the one on the green track was from last year. This was your fastest one for this year. Actually, I think you said that. From last green track. From this season, 52.1 red track. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, last year you ran 41.4 and this year you ran 52.1. Do I think your arms were an issue? My question was, this race was if you think my arms were an issue here. Anthony, what number 400 was this for you for this season? Like your third 400, your fourth 400? It looks like you got out better. I don't see anything like blatantly wrong with your arms. I don't think it's that big of a deal if there is. Like if I saw you in person, maybe, maybe I'd have a bigger deal out of it. Yeah. And then he says, this was my third 400. And during that training block where I was doing 350s during the week along with the meets. So, and then you got injured, is what I remember, something like that. So, this being your third 400, you did exactly what I would expect, right? I like this backstretch better than the green track 400. I do. I think that you hit a bigger wall here because you went out harder in the first 200. But more important than that, I think you hit a big wall here because it was your third 400 of the season. Also, because it seems like you were in loading phase doing 350s. Hopefully, that's considered loading for you. Unless they were like race strategy ones, in which case you need like a lot of rest, and you should only be doing like 2 or 3 of them. Yeah. So this was the biggest struggle finish, it looked like, out of all the races that we reviewed today. Again, for me, Anthony, I would assume that gotcha. I was told my arms were slowing down the frequency of my stride in that last 50 and was wondering if that was true. I mean, yeah, it's true. But I think the arms are kind of like a symptom rather than the cause, right? Your posture broke down completely and your turnover broke down completely. Okay, let's look at the leader here of this race from last year. Getting side to side, but posture still remains tall and turnover still remains quick. Okay, that's the challenge. So, and by comparison to your PR from this year, posture broke down, turnover slows down, and then arms. I mean, yes, the arms can be better, should be better, and also will lead your legs to turning over quicker. It does start with the arms, especially at the end of a 400 when your legs are cooked, Let's look at your teammate real fast. Yeah, your teammate who won didn't finish the best either, but look at his posture. Look at the turnover. It's kind of the same story here. His posture is better, his turnover is better. You really break down and your turnover slows down. Turnover, actually, you two look a little similar. I think it's a symptom still. I think it's just a symptom of this being your first 400, your third 400 of the year. That's not enough to see big PRs. You need to get to like 8 in a year, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you'll start seeing big PRs. I know that you were injured too, so that doesn't help the number of 400s that you're able to run. But I'm seeing this be more true, like with not just you, which is why I'm harping on it a bit here, which is that 3 races is not enough time to figure out what's going on. It's not enough time to build strength to finish that last, especially in the 400. It's not enough time to build race competition strength. People don't understand that racing is a different skill than running fast in practice. Competition in practice is much different than competition in a race. And running, and this being your third 400 doesn't, it explains a lot of why you finished the way you did, whereas like the video from last year, you finished much better. Okay. I hope that was helpful, Anthony. We just told you a lot of stuff. Okay. Um yeah, no problem. No problem. Keep in touch, keep sharing stuff. You know, it's what I'm here for, to help. So Clue says, I can't upload fast enough as the internet is terrible here at state right now. Is it okay if I send? Yeah, of course. Clue, you just join and then upload whenever you get a chance. And you know, I'm streaming 3 days a week. So I will get to your videos. Okay. Just share what you have, list your times, list how many years you've been running and what you think you need help on. Yeah, good. Anthony, when does indoor start? Because I'm in California, you know, our indoor is like January-ish to March, which isn't really a season, to be honest. It looks like, are you in Florida? I mean, Florida has better indoor too, because East Coasters have much better indoor seasons than West Coasters. West Coasters barely have indoor season. No. South Carolina. Yeah, December. Yeah. Good. Good luck. You know, I mean, so you'll start training. It's June, maybe around August, September or so. I'm sure you're still training, but you know what I mean, like on the track and stuff. Okay, I'll send some in film review within the next day or so. Great. I look forward to it, Clue. Let's get you to state finals. That should be our goal. Okay. So we spent nice time with Anthony. Very helpful. Let's see here, David. Oh, David, is this you? Yes. David Agosto. Hello. Hold on one second. How's it going now? This was my top speed workout yesterday, and I took a video of around the middle of each rep. I feel it looks fine, but I want to know what there is to improve. Here, I'll share everybody what I'm reading. Okay, so this is where you come. Just Clue, if you're still here, you come here, type in, you know, please help, something. You can type in whatever you want. You upload your video, you say, hi, my name is, and I need help with my 100-meter dash finish or whatever. And then you type here, film review, select, and then you post it. And then I will have it to review. People try to share it in the DMs, which is okay. But like what I do when I come here, this is the general group chat. And what I'll do when I come as I get ready for my live stream is I will just click film review and see who we have. Okay. So David says, hello, this was my top speed workout yesterday, and I took a video of around the middle of each rep. I feel it looks fine, but I just want to know where there is to improve. I also think I just am slow and look slow, probably because I probably don't put enough force into the ground, ? That's what I think, but let me know. I already replied to David a bit. But what I want to do is show you all what I see from David. Okay, so let's see. Quick snippet, but I'm able to tell a lot. Okay, so what I think can be improved. I think David hits a little bit in front of his center of mass, and this is why. Okay, that toe is pointed straight down. That is not a dorsiflex toe, and as a result, I mean, that's not too I mean, right, hips back here. Foot hits in front of his center of mass here. That's going to be a braking motion. Okay. Yeah. Really gets outside of himself, right? I don't mind this, but he needs to step down directly off of this. He's kind of hanging out in the air in this position. David, right? That's her name. David. Okay. Hangs out in this position a little long. Hits in front of himself. This is a big break. Big break. This is why you feel slow. It's not because you are slow, it's because you're breaking every step. And that's going to lead to, you feeling slow. Let's see, what fun stuff can I do? We need to do something for a nice fun thumbnail. Okay. This is not the position that David needs to be in when he hits the ground. I'm not saying that he needs to be completely straight like this, but something way more akin to this. Now this is not the biggest difference in the world, but that's the difference between speed and not speed, are these tiny differences. Let's watch another one. Because, I'm pretty sure the pattern remains true for David because I watched these already. So just to give him some quick feedback. Yeah, for sure. Okay, not horrible here. I'd also like to see not this. Right? I think when you toe down like you are, that's inevitable. So all this can be solved with some dorsiflexion. Okay, dorsiflexion. I'll do you one better, David. Sprint mastery. These. You need ankle hops. So these are. This is a horrible footage, to be honest. I need to refilm this. But you need to learn how to do these ankle hops. I believe there's better quality on when you're not streaming. Okay, single leg ankle hops and alternate leg ankle hops. This is going to help your dorsiflexion. It's also going to help you be stiff when you hit the ground. Okay, David, you collapse on your ankle. You don't have ankle rigidity. Okay, you're very flat. You look strong. You look capable of running fast. There's just some fundamental things that you don't do well. And it's making every step that you take be a break as opposed to a spring. And so I gotta wonder, how long you've been running track, all these things. This is maybe a conversation David and I mean, you cover decent distance, cover pretty good distance. If you could just figure out how to stay up tall, you see how you're sitting in the air, Watch. Now you're sitting back, sitting back, sitting back, sitting back. That needs to be, you need to be tall and strong in your hips and your psoas, PSOAS. That comes with time. So I wonder how new you might be or not. Maybe you're not new. But yeah, we got to get rid of that. Okay, David. Yeah. I know you feel slow. It's almost like you're leaping and you hit a brake and you leap and brake and leap and brake instead of sprinting. So learn how to flex your dorsiflexion foot, do some ankle hops to work on ankle rigidity and stiffness, some negative depth, calf raises. Come talk to me in Speed Lab and let's work on it. Okay. Some jump rope, perhaps. All right, we're going to end with something fun. Something fun from a regular viewer, a commenter, Speed Lab member, Casey, who wants to know, where are you at, Casey? Oh, David. David, are you here? If you're here, I'll review this right now. If you're not here, I'm going to go and I'll review it Sunday. Okay, so this is Casey. Gone over her film before. So she says, quick favor, can you tell me which spike I am running the best in? Pink Nikes, white Adidas, Sprint Star, or yellow Adidas Adizero? Not sure I have the aptitude for this spike yet, although it did give me a little kick along the straightaway at the end. This, what Casey means is this is a very raw, stiff, and demanding spike. Correct me if I'm wrong, Casey. It's minimal. It requires your feet to be very strong and very strong, elastic. Okay, it rewards those with sprinting feet, strong feet, and it punishes those who don't have those. So I think that's what she means. I'm just thinking my old Nikes, but let me know, please. So we watched these. These are the Adidas Zeros. Or no, they're not. They're the Adidas Sprint Star. Let me know which one you think Casey should use. One. We have the pink Nikes. These are the ones that I think Casey is the most comfortable in. And then we have the yellow Adidas Adizero. So my advice for anyone and for Casey is to stick with the spike that you enjoy the most, that you have the most trust in for meet day, because Casey has a meet tomorrow. And then in practice, that's when you experiment with other spikes. You see how they are, how they feel, how your feet feel, how your ground response is, whether it's helpful or not. And then you decide from there. But you should spend enough time in practice, in spikes, enough miles sprinted, enough time ran, enough reps repeated to begin to understand what your body likes and appreciates. And it shouldn't be a meet decision. You should know before the meet. If you're going into a meet and you're not sure, stick with the reliable ones. You don't want anything in the back of your mind other than competing on meet day, including film review, including strategy. Let's just run on meet day. And then in practice, we do everything else, like figure out which spike is best for us, whether we need a new version of the same spike, whether we need to change spikes. I love it all. I find a lot of pleasure in novelty. I mean, all humans do, right? Novelty is exciting and fun. It's one of the ways that keeps you consistent, right? A new spike bag, a new backpack, a new journal to write down your workouts, a new water bottle, some new supplements. Like there's so many a stretching rope, new socks, a new massage gun. Like there's so many variations of novelty within the sport that help aid the monotony of a 12-week program. Because you should be programmed for extended periods. The longer your program, the more chance you have of reaching your goal. Right? Professionals work backwards from the Olympics. Like as soon as the Olympics is over, they work backwards from there based on what year we want a down year, what year we want an up year, what meets we want to go to on the up year, what meets we want to go to on the down year, all these things. They're planned out for 4 years in advance, maybe even 8 years in advance, right? Have a baby, not have a baby, like all these things are planned. And inside of that, it becomes very boring. That's the price you pay. If you haven't reached boredom yet, you haven't done enough things. You haven't done enough reps. When the boredom comes, that's when you start to be like, oh, let me try some creatine. It refreshes you for another 60 days. Creatine's awesome. It's the best thing ever. Whoop-de-whoop. Then all of a sudden you get bored with your creatine. And then you go, oh, I think I need new spikes. And then you try out new spikes and you like them or you don't like them. You fall back in love with your old spikes. It fuels you for another 30 days. And then you get a new notepad and a pen. And then you're writing down this is the pattern. But what stays true is that the fact that you show up and keep putting in the work. This is just was true for me, and it's true for a lot of athletes. If you can handle the monotony of training, and all you need is your water and feet, as Goggins says, then good for you. I found that a little novelty helps keep me consistent. So, and it doesn't have to be the new $1,200 Normatec boots. It doesn't have to be a $1,300 red light panel. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, right? It's literally a pen and a notepad of what you write your workouts in, and something that you're excited about. And I bring that up because I just got a new pen and notepad for my weight room routine to help keep me going. So, okay. Very good. We stayed longer than I thought we would. Thank you, Clue, for stopping by. Thanks, Anthony, for stopping by. Thanks, David, Casey, everyone else who's here at Speed Lab putting in work. David, we're going over your film later Sunday. And anybody else interested, please submit some more film, okay? All right. Thanks for stopping by. Let me make sure I got everybody. All right. See you guys next time. Thanks.